All right, so what's on my mind this morning is surprise, surprise. What would you guess?
I don't know.
Wigton.
Okay.
Wigton Wind Farm's historic listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I attended the listing ceremony at the JSC's office on Harbor Street in downtown Kingston on Wednesday. And there was a full house. You had lots of brokers there, lots of people in the industry there. The Energy Minister, Favour Williams, was there. The Finance Minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, was there. They gave speeches. And the Prime Minister was there. He gave the keynote address. So it shows you the importance that the government has ascribed to it. This policy that they've taken on now of socializing wealth, which I truly appreciate. And I especially liked the point that the Prime Minister made about the country's history of socializing debt. This is what he said.
The history of Jamaica has been that the government has sought to socialize debt. So companies fail, they incur debt, and the debt becomes public debt. The government has to step in, has to bail them out, buy out the debt, hence FinSac and other such. Or public companies fail, incur debt, and the government has to support them through the budget, hence higher taxes. So effectively, private decisions that fail or public decisions that are poorly made end up costing the taxpayer. So you socialize the debt. What we're trying to do now is to socialize wealth.
You know, it's so true. Over the years, taxpayers have been made to pay for so many poor decisions. And it's interesting that in his presentation, the Prime Minister said not everyone in his administration agreed that the government should sell Wigton, because it's a profitable company making money for the state. And he also made the point that for strategic reasons, the government or a government would want to own an energy company. That's why they invested in Wigton all those years ago when nobody in the private sector would touch it. They couldn't get any support for this venture. And now that it's doing well, why sell it? You should only sell bad companies, of course, poor performing companies. But what the Prime Minister said is so true. Why should taxpayers continuously have to support failing companies and people's bad decisions, but not get a share of the pie when state-owned companies do well, other than through state programs, state assistance, that sort of thing? So I'm really digging this philosophy by the Holness administration. And this philosophy has also been supported by a demand for investments, and you see it everywhere you look. People have money. Jamaican people have money, and they want somewhere to put it. One of the things that surprised me about this IPO and surprised a lot of people who were commenting on Twitter, was the average spend of new investors in Wigton. So first of all, 12,000 new investors participated in the Wigton IPO. These are people who had never invested in the stock market in their life. These are brand new investors. And you'd think that these people might be a little bit timid. Just putting a little troops here just to test the waters. My first investment. I don't want to, go too hard or anything. Well, the average spend of the new investors was $124,000. $124,000 for the new investors. And I even had to call the JSC to double check that number and make sure that wasn't the average spend overall. Because overall, I can understand people putting $1 million here, 2 million. I mean, people who are on the investment bandwagon long time, putting in $1 million, 2 million is nothing. But for brand new investors, those 12,000, the average was $124,000. I thought that was pretty good. So and it demonstrates that people do have money. People have money that they're looking to invest if they find the right thing to invest in. And one of the reasons people have this money is that they're finally wising up and taking their money out of savings accounts where you're not earning anything on it. If you get 1%, you're probably lucky. And that's nothing, because inflation alone will eat out your savings, even in this low inflation environment that we have now. And now with the BOJ's monetary policies as well, where interest rates are coming down, it's even less attractive to keep your money in a savings account. We're going to be talking about that later on the front page as well. You can't get money from government paper anymore either. So people need things to do with their money. And here comes the stock market. which is why it's been booming, and also why real estate is booming and stuff is building up all over the place, and why businesses are expanding and new businesses are opening. Because people have to get creative with their money now that the government is no longer crowding out these other areas. And a lot of people were surprised to see that so many people have so much money lying around. But considering these circumstances, perhaps it shouldn't be that surprising. Perhaps we should have said, okay, yeah, okay. What I especially loved, though, were these two statistics in particular. Number one, that 50% of investors in Wigton were under 40. So these are people in their 20s and 30s. And even I imagine a few teenagers as well, a few savvy teens investing. And number two, that 56% of investors in Wigton were women. You go, Patria. So why is that latter number so significant, the women investors? Somebody on Twitter, a woman, said, so what? We should just be happy that people are investing, period. And I had to say, no. This is actually quite significant because consider this. On the stock market in general, only 27% of investors are women. So only about 1 in 4 investors on the JSE are women. But for Wigton, that jumped to more than 1 in 2. So the ratio for women doubled. And I bet if we were to break down the ratio of women among new investors, it would be even higher than the 56%. So I'm very proud of our women that we're coming out of that natural timidity when it comes to finances. Gone are the days when, honey, you work and bring home the money, and I don't ask any questions. Pat, I remember my mother once told me that when she and my father got married, he told her that she needed to give him her paycheck. Yeah? You should see Patria's face. So that he could manage the money, and then he would just give her whatever he thought she needed, I guess, for like groceries and maybe some type of allowance. So naturally my mother refused, and I don't blame her at all, especially knowing how frugal, let's use that word, frugal, my father is. But that was how things used to be done once upon a time. Women didn't have much say in managing their personal finances or their family's personal finances. And so the family could be on the brink of financial ruin, and the woman would have absolutely no idea what was going on. Like in this TV show, Good Girls. Have you seen Good Girls on TV? It's hilarious, by the way, where the lead character turns to a life of crime after accidentally discovering that her husband's business is failing and the house had been mortgaged 4 times and they were on the verge of losing it all. But times have changed, and I'm glad to see it. Times have changed, and there's, hope on the horizon. That's what's on my mind. Turn it up.